hope I can film this in time, because like my phone is dying. Hey guys, so it is me, Miss MatchaBlossom, and today we're gonna be doing a video I never thought I'd really do till maybe a little later, but hey, I mean, better early than never is. What I'm gonna say, I'm sorry, my chest is tired because I just changed. Today, we're actually gonna go over what is my Hanfu story. So for all who don't know, hello, I'm a Hanfu enthusiast, and I actually like a lot of Hanfu style, and I try to talk about it as much as I can on this channel, and I am still very new, but if you have any suggestions in a polite, correct way, please leave it down in the comment box below, and I appreciate you taking your time for watching this video. Today I'm going to be talking about my Hanfu story. Hopefully I can do this in time. My phone's on 14, oh yeah, because I put all my notes in here. The reason why I made this video is because I actually had a very sweet commenter, or kind of like a subscriber slash follower. She messaged me on Instagram and she had some questions about where I can locate Hanfu that's more efficient and appropriate to the creators instead of people who secondhand sell them or don't make authentic, like actual recreated costume Hanfu. Did let her know that I was also going to I should say them because I don't know their pronouns. I decided to let them know that I was going to not only make a video about how to get Hanfu, or like where you can get it from, which should be at the top of this, or I do have it to where today, and she wanted to know how I got into it. Excuse me, they, I don't know their pronoun. Yeah, this is the beginning. Chronicles of Miss Ma. So growing up, actually, I was really influenced on Chinese movies growing up because I did live with my father a lot. I wasn't around my mom as much growing up just because she chose to work more than to be around her family. I spent a lot of time with my dad, and he did a lot of family things with us, and we watched a lot of action-based movies. He had a real fascination for Chinese culture, whether it was Chinese influenced movies or Chinese historical movies that had action in it. And I know some people have already grown up with parents that are very similar in that regard, but for me, my dad really loved it. He did some martial arts when he was younger, very active, but he really respected the Chinese culture. I kind of leaned toward that, not just because I was into anime, but I was very interested in how like the garments were so beautifully woven and the embroidery was beautiful, whether it was the Manchurian or the Hanfu. Unfortunately, since when I was younger, I'm not gonna lie, American schooling doesn't really teach you that much about the other cultures' names as much as just American culture. Even though they have world history, it's like whatever American considers world history. I didn't really get that much influence, and so when I explain these things, don't be harsh on me. It's just the fact that I didn't know these things until later, until I had to study on them. So just remember, it's up to you to make yourself knowing of these things. So for example, my father did watch a lot of Chinese influenced movies or Chinese based movies. Here's some examples of either one or both. Rush Hour, the series, like 1, 2, or 3. Yo, that's like at my top. Romeo Must Die with Jet Li and Aaliyah in it. I really loved that growing up. More of the movies that were historical style like themes in their outfits. That's actually what gravitated me more, because growing up, it could be because I also was really influenced by historical movies and historical themes. Like I liked the movie Little Princess growing up. And I really had like, I used to read a lot of American Girl doll books. I liked a lot of historical contexts, and I wanted to know more like how they did things, because history does repeat itself. It's just how the style works that changes with history. So when I saw ancient Chinese culture, I was like, what is this? What's the name of this garment? Like, how do they do this? Like, I was so interested in every little bit about it, especially when I saw not just like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, but Once Upon a Time in China, and what's the other one? Drunken Tiger. And I don't know why I was thinking of an anime. Why was I gonna say Fist of the North Star? I know those are like more modern Chinese movies, or like around the last dynasty. What was that one with Liu Fei in the older series? And I was like, wow, this is really good, but like it didn't really stick for me with Hanfu. I knew it was different because the Manchurian outfit, I just knew that was called something else, and I knew it was different from the older, and all I knew about Hanfu was not the name, but just like the visual like outfit itself, the older Chinese garment that was worn back in time. That's all I knew about it, just based off of like the way I grew up. When the movies Forbidden Kingdom came out, and growing up with The Mummy 3, I was like, all right, now I know something ain't right. I was like, I know, because like unfortunately some Americans, and I can't speak for all, do say that the Manchurian outfit from the Qin Dynasty is just the Chinese outfit. If you wear anything like Hanfu, it's just Japanese. And I'm like, no, it's not. It's really not. But it kind of made me a little upset as I got older. But not, at this point, I was like, no, it's not Japanese. What is it called? And I never knew. I would always try to look it up, but back in the early 2000s to mid 2000s, it was still pretty new, if not barely noticed at all, non-existent in America. And it wasn't really as heavily shown out as much as you probably would see it, maybe a bit more now. All I knew is that it was a cultural garment that was traditional, and that people wore it that were from that descent. And unfortunately, I was told from people around me, maybe even people within my same color group, because unfortunately that does happen, that you can't wear this because that's their clothing. I'm not saying all of that, you know what I mean? Like, we're not trying to disrespect the culture. So I just took it as that, and I was like, okay, well, I don't want to offend anyone, but I guess I'll just live my life vicariously through someone else. And so when I would get older and I was watching all these dramas, I was like, oh, I wish I could wear that. And I found out, not just with hanboks, but like I was leaning more towards Hanfu, because I have a cosplay channel, if you guys don't know, and I actually created that based off of my love for cosplay. And I was like, oh, I wanted to make cosplays for people with POC. So that led me on the track of how I got into Hanfu more, which was with Yumi King. Now, Yumi King, I did not know at the time. We both lived in the same state. And I was like, and I didn't find it out until I moved. I was like, what the freak? I could have met her. I actually found her when I was doing cosplay stuff, and then I found out she did Hanfu. She kind of spoke more about that through some of her videos, and I was like, oh man, that'd be so cool. I was like, wow, I wish I could wear that, but then I kind of just let it go. But then one video changed my life. It changed my life forever. But like, I saw one of her videos when she was going to TuggerCon, I believe it's called, and she was having some of the guests in her panel wearing the Hanfu, and I was like, what? We could do that? What? I was like so flabbergasted. I was like, are we allowed to do that? And I think it just comes from the concept that we're told that we can't do this. And it's not just the people of POC, but like certain people are told that they can't do that without any further extended knowledge. I say that because I'll mention something later on, but I'll mention that later. Keep in mind, I did just cosplay. So like as soon as I found out I got the green light from Yumi King, I was like, I need to watch all her videos. And I've seen all her videos pretty regularly with Hanfu, like multiple times, just because I was so inspired. I was like, oh, I wish I can do that. And I told myself, I was like, why not? I had to really do my research before I like jumped right in, because I was like, I really want to do this. I want to give it a shot. So if you guys have noticed on my cosplay channel, it's mostly for historical garments or apparel, if not cosplays. I gave it a shot. I had to watch videos that were in Chinese or in Spanish or any other language to see exactly how they made the Hanfu. Like, I looked through different videos. I started drawing things. Hold on. Where? And I was shook. I was shooketh. I did a lot of studying like a while back, because I wanted to make sure I did this completely credible. Like, I started copying down sources, started making sure that I had the right information. I started drawing a lot of patterns, trying to break it down into the best way I can visually see it, because unfortunately in my country, I could not see like if I can buy any patterns online or where would be good sources to buy patterns online. And I had to keep studying and drawing and repeating it, watching these videos in other languages, trying to figure out how I could do the basing of the patterns. How does it fold? How does it go over? And I was like, I'm gonna find a way to do this, because if there's a will, there's a freaking way. When I made that video that you see now on my cosplay account, called about like the DIY like Hanfu Chishan Ruchin. I keep butchering it every time. You think I would say it as many times, I wouldn't butcher it. I made that video and it kind of blew up a little bit, not too much, but it did blow up to a point where I was like, wow, I have 1,000 to 2,000 views on this. But it was really also because I had so many people down in the comments giving me great advice, like construction criticism. At the same time, people were actually saying thank you and giving me really good compliments. Don't get me wrong, I have a long way to go before I get that one right, because that one, it takes a minute to do the pleats, to make sure it goes down correctly. The reason how I started making this channel, just based off of after that video, I was like, oh, I'm so nervous. I want to do it, but I'm scared. Like, you know what? Let's do it. Even if it's just for a year, let's do it for a year. I literally started to, I wanted to do what any person would do, because I looked on not only, unfortunately I started with eBay and AliExpress, not the best ways to start things, but you live and you learn. What I did was I started with eBay and AliExpress because I was like, hi, I'm new to this. I don't know what I'm doing. I wanted to do it because I saw so many reviews, not only on AliExpress, but on other websites saying, oh, this is the best, or oh, this is the worst, or I didn't expect this, and look at these sizes are bad, or all these sizes are good, or oh, it looks authentic. And I was like, well, and I saw some videos on YouTube with already people making reviews, but no one consistently being honest with the style. And I was like, well, I want to be at least honest with it, even if I can't be completely like, oh, I'm to the book, because I'm still learning. But I want other people to understand that they're not alone while they're doing this, and we can both find the answers together and we can influence each other. When you choose to be your better self, you allow other people to do that as well. Yourself out there, you show people so that it can help them as well. I wanted to go ahead and put myself out there so people can understand that it's okay to try it, even if you're a different race from them. But I really wanted people to respect the culture and understand, even if you make mistakes, I feel like as long as you have someone constructively giving you good advice to help you, that's okay. And of course there's gonna be some trolls. If you guys haven't checked my comment section, there's some trolls in there that try to give me backhanded compliments. The reason why I continued with YouTube after I made those unboxings, it kind of opened my eyes to what I needed to learn about Hanfu. Was still a lot I didn't know. So I saw like a lot of different shows like to help me understand the culture besides the fashion. It's very important to study, and you'll never stop learning. And I think the best thing, to be honest, is hearing people's comments down below. Like, that's the most rewarding thing. That's actually the reason why I keep going, is because you guys really help me understand Hanfu, but you also encourage me to keep going. And I know I'm not alone with this, because I feel like I have friends. Oh my god, that's so sad. I do have friends, but it's just like, it makes me feel like I'm on a chosen journey with you guys. Like, you guys are my chosen family. You guys don't humiliate me. You don't make fun of me. You don't tell me because I'm a certain race I shouldn't wear it. Mind you, this is what I wanted to mention earlier. This is why I say you should do something you want to do, but make sure you do your study about it, especially if you're new to something. I was wearing a Hanfu, and I remember my sister had a friend that mentioned to me, I'm not even gonna say names, but I didn't find this okay. I had a relative who had a friend that was Vietnamese. I say this because it has to do with the context of what she mentioned to me. I'm gonna call it Veranda. Is that even a name? Veranda. Veranda, I'm gonna call her Veranda. Veranda, which is my relative's friend, decided to tell me, after looking at my Instagram, of course, why don't you put your Hanfu content, like about Hanfu culture, onto your cosplay account? Now I told her, I said, because I've done a sewing tutorial of a Hanfu on my cosplay account, I labeled it as apparel and not costume. One, because it's just a sewing video. And yes, I know it's a costume because it's not in this actual era to be considered actual clothing. But at the same time, I put Hanfu related based videos on this channel. Don't want to cultural appropriate on that channel. Does that make sense to you guys? It's like me doing it to someone else's culture onto a cosplay anime channel. And there's just so much historical, ethnic things with Japan and China. I don't want to get mixed. I don't want to do that. So I mentioned that to her, and I said, I appreciate that, but this is what I said to her about, like, you know, the whole thing I just explained to you guys. She told me, well, I feel if I would wear it, since I'm Vietnamese, I can pass for wearing Hanfu. But if you wear it, you wouldn't pass. You would just look like you're wearing a costume. Now, there's so many things wrong with that. And I explained it to her. I said, well, what am I trying to pass for? I'm not trying to pass for Asian. I'm trying to pass as respectful. I want Hanfu ethical culture from Hanfu Fashion, because you want to do that. I'm not going to appropriate that and put it into something else that doesn't need to be in, like a category that's unrelated. Like, let's say, like, Paris fashion. What does that have to do with it? Nothing. I don't like when someone tells me because I'm a certain race, I shouldn't wear that. It already was troubling enough to hear that from Veranda, but it was troubling to hear that my relative didn't even stick up for me, and they are the same mixed race as me, and they chose to say nothing. And the really hurtful part was that Veranda, she said that to me, but mind you, on Halloween day, she wore that on Halloween and said, oh, I really love this costume. I don't know about y'all, but I find that problematic. Just saying, but you know, that's none of my business. It's important to do your research, you know, well, especially if you're new to something. And I'm grateful that I had some friends, like even from my Instagram, like really say, hey, like, I know you made this, or like, hey, I know you bought this from AliExpress. I really hope, because I've had people kindly say it to me, like, hey, I I hope this doesn't offend you, and I'm really glad you appreciate our culture. This website and buy it instead. I promise it'll be fine if you invest. And I've had friends actually come and tell me that, and they say, I appreciate you sewing and stuff. You can still do that, but please try to respect it by buying other stuff that are like this. That's okay to say and have friends that say that. I mean, they're actually willing to have you continue to respect their culture. Please and thank you. I did want to say that was my Hanfu story because I'm still learning so much. I don't want to kind of give people the wrong impression like, oh, I'm at the top, now we here. No, I'm still learning. I'm still at the bottom, like feeling my way through the dark. Thank you guys so much for watching my video today. I hope it wasn't too boring. I am a little tired because it is Monday morning and I just filmed another video and I'm editing another one for you guys. But I have like 5 minutes left on here, so and my phone is at 9%, my camera's at 5%. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe for more videos, but do not forget to hit the bell notification that keeps you informed when I have a new video coming out. Thank you guys so much for being a part of my life and being my chosen family, you blossoms, and I will be blessing out. Bye.